I held onto the edge of my shawl as I stepped into the brightly lit hall, my heart racing with excitement. My grandson Ethan's wedding. The music, the flowers, the laughter. It all felt like a dream I had waited years to see. "Grandma, you made it." Ethan's voice carried across the room. He rushed over, his arms wrapping tightly around me. "I wouldn't miss it for the world," I whispered, holding him close. "You look so handsome, Ethan. Just like your grandfather when we married." He laughed softly. "Don't make me cry before the ceremony. Come, I'll show you your seat." Before Ethan could lead me, Claire appeared, her smile thin and sharp. "Oh, I already arranged her place," she said quickly, slipping her hand through his arm. "Right this way." Ethan hesitated. "But I thought Grandma should sit near us in the front." Claire tilted her head, still smiling, but her eyes were cold. "The tables are full. You know how weddings are. It's only for a few hours. She'll be comfortable." I tried to hide my confusion. "It doesn't matter, Ethan. I'll sit anywhere. Don't worry about me." He frowned. "Grandma." Claire cut him off. "Ethan, you need to get ready. Leave this to me." Ethan squeezed my hand before walking off. "I'll come check on you soon, I promise." Claire led me through the decorated hall, past tables covered with golden cloths, candles flickering, plates set for honored guests. I thought she might stop near the family table, but she kept walking. Past the music, past the flowers, until we reached the hallway near the restrooms. A single chair sat against the wall. "Here," she said lightly, patting the chair. "It's quiet, you'll like it." My throat tightened. "In the hallway?" He shrugged. "It's all we have. Be grateful at least you're here." I sat slowly, my hands trembling in my lap. She left without another word. Guests walked by, glancing at me, some whispering. I caught a man's voice. "Isn't that the groom's grandmother? Why is she out here?" His companion chuckled. "Maybe she caused trouble. Families always hide their drama somewhere." My face burned. I folded my hands tighter, staring at the floor. Moments later, my son David appeared. He stopped a few steps away, shifting uncomfortably. "Mother," he muttered. "David," I said softly. "Why am I sitting out here?" He rubbed the back of his neck. "Claire said there wasn't room." "You believe that?" I asked, my voice shaking. "You know I should be inside with family." He avoided my eyes. "It's just for today. Don't make a scene." My chest ached. "After everything, you want me silent?" "Please, Mother. For Ethan's sake." He sighed and walked off. I bit my lip hard, swallowing tears. Time passed slowly. I could hear laughter and music from the hall. A little girl skipped past me, holding her mother's hand. She pointed at me and asked, "Mama, why is the old lady sitting outside?" The woman hushed her and pulled her along. My heart twisted. A waiter passed by with a tray. He glanced at me, then paused. "Ma'am, aren't you family?" "I am," I whispered. He frowned. "You should be inside." "Apparently this is where I belong," I said bitterly. He hesitated, then offered me a small glass of water. "Here, at least have this." "Thank you," I said, my voice breaking. He nodded and walked on. I closed my eyes, trying to steady myself. In my mind, memories returned. Nights I worked double shifts so David could study, mornings I walked Ethan to school while holding his tiny hand. Every sacrifice, every sleepless night, and now I was left in a hallway. Ethan suddenly appeared again, his face flushed. "Grandma, what are you doing here? Why didn't you come inside?" I forced a smile. "This is my seat, Ethan. Claire said there wasn't room." His jaw tightened. "That's ridiculous. You belong with us." Before I could answer, Claire appeared again, her tone sharp. "Ethan, we talked about this. He's fine here. Don't create problems." Ethan turned to her, his voice firm. "She's my grandmother. He raised my father. Without her, we wouldn't even be standing here today." Claire's smile wavered, but she whispered harshly, "Guests are watching. Do you want to embarrass us?" I touched Ethan's arm gently. "It's all right, my dear. I don't want trouble on your wedding day." "But Grandma." "Go," I said softly. "Enjoy your moment. I'll be fine." He looked at me with sad eyes before walking back toward the hall. Claire leaned closer, her voice low and cruel. "See? You know your place. Stay quiet, old woman." She turned and walked away. I sat frozen, her words echoing in my ears. I wanted to scream, to stand, to walk inside, but my body felt heavy. I looked at my hands, wrinkled and trembling, and wondered how the family I built had turned me into a shadow in a hallway. And yet, even as tears slid down my cheeks, I whispered to myself, I will not be forgotten. Not tonight. I pulled my shawl tighter as the cold draft of the hallway brushed against me. The music from inside felt so far away, yet every laugh carried sharpness like blades cutting through me. Why are you out here all alone? A soft voice pulled me back. I turned and saw Emily, an old neighbor I hadn't met in years. Emily. I gasped, my heart lifting for a moment. You came. Of course, she said warmly, sitting beside me. I wouldn't miss Ethan's wedding. But tell me, why aren't you inside? I lowered my eyes. Apparently there wasn't room. Her brow furrowed. Nonsense. There's always room for a grandmother. I gave a bitter laugh. Not in Claire's world. Emily shook her head. I always said she was too proud. But I didn't think she'd stoop this low. From the doorway, voices drifted out. A woman whispered, they seated the groom's grandmother outside? How shameful. Another voice laughed. Maybe she's difficult. Families hide these things. I clenched my fist. Do you hear that, Emily? I've become gossip. Emily leaned closer. Then you mustn't let them win. Speak up. I tried, I murmured. David told me to stay quiet. Imagine that. My own son. The sound of footsteps made me look up. 2 young men passed by, guests dressed in fine suits. One glanced at me and whispered to the other, Isn't that her? The grandmother. The other snorted. Yes. Poor thing. They shoved her out here like luggage. My cheeks burned. I wanted to vanish. Emily put her hand on mine. Hold your head high. Don't let their cruelty shrink you. I forced a shaky breath. It's hard when the ones you raise treat you like a burden. Just then David appeared again. He looked uneasy seeing Emily beside me. Mother, why are you still out here? He asked. Where else should I be? I shot back. You put me here. His lips pressed tight. Don't twist it. Claire handled seating. I didn't decide. Emily crossed her arms. David, you let your wife humiliate your own mother? Shame on you. David flushed. Emily, please. This isn't the time. I raised my voice, trembling. When is the time, David? When will you stop hiding behind her? He sighed heavily. I just want peace. Don't make a scene. A scene. My chest ached with each word. You call this a scene? I call it betrayal. He stiffened, then turned away. I can't do this now. Without another word, he disappeared back into the hall. Silence lingered until Emily whispered, He's afraid of her. Afraid or weak? I muttered. A waiter came by again, pausing with a sympathetic glance. Still out here? Do you want me to bring you a plate? I forced a smile. No thank you. I don't want scraps. He looked at me with pity before leaving. Emily squeezed my hand. Don't let this break you. You've carried worse. I nodded faintly. Yes. I remember nights when I thought we wouldn't survive. When David was young, I stitched clothes past midnight just to buy him books. I gave everything. And now this, Emily said bitterly. The laughter inside grew louder. Claire's voice floated out, bright and false. We're so blessed tonight. A perfect family gathering. I almost laughed. Perfect? I sat outside like discarded furniture. Emily whispered, You could walk in right now. Sit at the table, no one would dare stop you. I shook my head. Not yet. If I move too soon, they'll twist it into drama. But I won't stay silent forever. Emily smiled softly. That's the woman I remember. I leaned back against the wall, my eyes heavy with unshed tears. All my life I stayed quiet for the sake of family. But tonight I feel something breaking inside me. Maybe silence is no longer love, it's surrender. Emily squeezed my shoulder. Then don't surrender. Not to them. I looked toward the glowing hall. Shadows flickered against the walls, laughter echoing, a celebration I wasn't allowed to join. Yet deep in my chest, beneath the ache, a flame stirred. And I whispered to myself, they will hear me. Not tonight perhaps. But soon. I heard footsteps and looked up. Ethan stood in the doorway, his bride Lily beside him. He smiled warmly. Grandma, why are you sitting here again? Ethan asked, concern in his voice. I forced a smile. This is my seat, my dear. Don't worry about me. Lily frowned. But this isn't right. Your family. Before I could reply, Claire swept in with her usual practiced grin. There you are, Ethan. Lily, sweetheart, don't fret. He's fine here. It's quieter. Ethan's jaw tightened. Quieter? He's my grandmother. She belongs with us. Claire's smile didn't fade. Darling, we talked about this. The tables are already arranged. Moving things around now would be chaos. I touched Ethan's arm gently. Don't fight. It's your day. I'll be fine. He shook his head. You're not fine. Grandma, you should be in the hall, not next to a restroom. Claire's voice sharpened, though her smile stayed fixed. Ethan, please. Everyone's watching. Do you want whispers on our wedding day? I looked at Ethan's face, torn between love and frustration, and whispered, Go, my boy. Don't let them spoil your joy. He hesitated, then nodded reluctantly. I'll come back soon. He kissed my hand before leaving with Lily. The moment they were gone, Claire leaned closer. Her voice dropped to a hiss. Stop making him pity you. It's pathetic. I stiffened. I didn't say anything. You don't have to, she sneered. Your sad face is enough. Always playing the victim. I clenched my hands. Do you forget who raised the man who married you? Without me, you wouldn't have this life. She smirked. Times change. You're just an old woman now, holding us back. The words pierced me, sharper than any knife. I whispered, You'll regret saying that. She chuckled and walked back inside, her dress swaying like nothing had happened. Left alone again, I wiped my eyes quickly. Then I heard a familiar voice. Grandma. Ethan's childhood friend Mark appeared, holding a drink. What are you doing here? Everyone's asking. I forced a small laugh. Apparently this is where I fit best. Mark frowned. That doesn't sound right. You always told me family sits together. I smiled sadly. Yes. I did, didn't I? He sat beside me. Do you remember when Ethan and I broke your vase playing soccer indoors? You didn't scold us. You just told us, people matter more than things. That's who you are. So why are they treating you like this? My throat tightened. Because kindness doesn't always earn respect, Mark. Sometimes it makes people think you're weak. He shook his head. No. It makes them ungrateful. Don't let them rewrite who you are. I blinked back tears. Thank you, Mark. It means more than you know. From the hall came the sound of music starting, the banquet officially beginning. The smell of roasted meat drifted out. A waiter passed me, hesitated, and whispered, Ma'am, may I bring you a plate? I shook my head. No. I don't want scraps. Mark looked furious. This is insane. You should be inside. I laid a hand on his arm. Let it go. Not now. He sighed but stayed quiet. Moments later, Ethan returned briefly, sneaking away from the crowd. He crouched in front of me, his eyes glistening. Grandma, I hate this. I can't enjoy anything knowing you're out here. I cupped his face. Don't worry about me. You deserve happiness. He whispered, but so do you. My heart ached at his words. Before I could answer, Claire's voice echoed again. Ethan. The first dance. She spotted him kneeling in front of me and frowned. There you are. Stop running off, people are waiting. Ethan kissed my cheek quickly. I'll come back, he promised, then rushed away. Claire gave me one last cold smile before following him. Left alone once more, I stared at the flickering hallway light above me. Tears blurred my vision. I whispered to myself, once he clung to my hand. Now I can't even sit at his table. And in that moment, the loneliness pressed so hard on my chest that it felt like the smile Claire wore had cut deeper than any blade. I sat slumped in the chair, the sounds of laughter and clinking glasses drifting from the hall. My heart felt heavy, like I was carrying the weight of a lifetime of silence. I reached into my old purse, fingers brushing against tissues, coins, and then an envelope. I froze. It was my husband's handwriting. My hands trembled as I unfolded it. His words stared back at me, written years ago. If you ever feel forgotten, stand tall. Don't let anyone erase what you gave. You are the root of this family, and without roots, nothing grows. My lips quivered. Oh, Daniel, I whispered, clutching the paper. Grandma. Ethan's soft voice startled me. He had slipped away again, kneeling in front of me. Are you crying? I quickly wiped my cheeks. Just a little dust in my eyes. He frowned. Don't lie to me. What's that in your hand? A letter, I said quietly. From your grandfather. He wrote it long ago, but I've carried it with me ever since. Can I see it? He asked gently. I hesitated, then handed it over. Ethan read slowly, his lips moving with each word. When he finished, his eyes were damp. Grandma, he was right. You are the root. Without you, none of this would exist. My throat tightened. Then why do I feel invisible tonight? Because some people don't know how to honor others, Ethan said fiercely. But I do. And I will. I shook my head. Don't make promises in anger, Ethan. This is your day. Don't let bitterness spoil it. Just then Lily appeared beside him, her expression soft. Ethan, everyone's asking for you. But I wanted to come too. May I? Of course, I said, smiling faintly. She knelt on the other side, her hand covering mine. I don't understand why you're out here. You should be in there by his side at the family table. Before I could answer, Claire's sharp voice cut in. There you are. We need you. And Lily, don't wander off. Guests are waiting. Lily stood, her eyes narrowing. Claire, this is wrong. She belongs inside. Claire's smile tightened. Lily dear, don't get emotional. We can't disrupt the order. Besides, she says she's fine. I looked between them, then forced a weak smile. It's true. I can manage. Ethan shook his head firmly. No. Enough. Grandma, come with me. You're sitting with us. Claire stepped in front of him. No. People are already whispering. Do you want scandal? What scandal? Ethan demanded. Honoring my grandmother? That's scandalous to you. Her cheeks flushed, but she hissed, You'll regret making a scene. I stood slowly, folding the letter back into my purse. My voice trembled but grew stronger with each word. I regret nothing more than the years I kept silent for peace. Daniel told me not to let anyone erase me. And tonight I won't. Claire's eyes widened, then narrowed. You wouldn't dare. I met her gaze. Watch me. Ethan smiled, his grip firm on my arm. Come on, Grandma. It's time. As we walked toward the glowing hall, my legs felt weak, but the letter burned like fire in my purse, pushing me forward. Lily followed close, her chin raised defiantly. At the doorway I stopped for a moment. The hall sparkled, flowers, lights, smiling faces. Yet when people saw me, their murmurs grew. Isn't that the grandmother? Someone whispered. They left her outside, another replied. How cruel. I straightened my back. For once I didn't lower my eyes. Ethan guided me forward, but Claire rushed ahead, trying to block the way. This isn't the time, she snapped. Lily's voice rang out clear and steady. It's exactly the time. Everyone should know the truth. Guests fell silent. The music paused. All eyes turned to us. Ethan lifted his hand. Everyone, this is my grandmother. She is the reason my father grew up, the reason I stand here today. She belongs at the head table. Gasps filled the room. A woman muttered, How could they seat her outside? I swallowed hard. My voice trembled, but I forced it out. For years I stayed quiet. For years I let others decide where I belonged. Tonight I say enough. Claire hissed, Sit down, old woman. Don't ruin this. But Ethan's hand tightened around mine. She's not ruining anything. She's making it right. Lily added, This family wouldn't even exist without her sacrifices. The hall buzzed with whispers, some shocked, others agreeing. Faces turned toward Claire and David, searching for answers. My heart pounded, but for the first time all night I felt something stir inside me. Dignity. I lifted my chin. Daniel told me I am the root. Tonight I remember his words. The letter in my purse felt heavy, but instead of weighing me down, it gave me strength. And as Claire's smile finally faltered, I knew the silence I had carried all these years was beginning to break. The silence in the banquet hall pressed down like a storm about to break. I could feel everyone's eyes on me, some curious, some judging, others pitying. Ethan still held my hand firmly, guiding me toward the family table at the front. Claire hissed through clenched teeth, You're humiliating yourself. Sit back down before this gets out of hand. I kept walking. No, Claire. For once I'll sit where I belong. Gasps rippled across the room. David finally rose, his face pale. Mother, please. Let's not do this here. I stopped, turning to him. My voice cracked, but I didn't let it falter. Do what, David? Exist? Take a seat at my own grandson's wedding? He lowered his eyes. It's not like that. Then what is it like? I snapped. The words burned my throat. Because from where I sit, or rather from where I don't sit, it feels like I've been erased. A murmur spread through the guests. Some shifted uncomfortably. Others leaned in closer, waiting. Claire stepped forward, smiling sweetly at the crowd. Please forgive the interruption. Weddings can be stressful and sometimes emotions get the better of people. She turned back to me, her eyes sharp. Why don't we speak privately? No, Ethan said firmly. We speak here. Everyone deserves to hear. Claire's smile cracked. Ethan, you don't understand. I understand perfectly, he cut her off. I see my grandmother shoved into a hallway like an embarrassment. Do you call that honor? Do you call that love? Lily moved to my side, her voice steady but cold. It's cruelty. And everyone here knows it. Gasps again. Claire flushed, but David tugged at her arm. Enough, he whispered. But she yanked away. No. I won't be painted as the villain. We did what was necessary for appearances. She doesn't understand how things work. The words stabbed me. I straightened my back. Appearances? I raised you, David. I scrubbed floors, stitched clothes, went hungry so you wouldn't. Did that shame you, Claire? Did my wrinkled hands embarrass your precious image? Mother, stop, David pleaded, his voice low. You're making this worse. I turned to him, my eyes wet. Worse than sitting by toilets while my family dines? Worse than being treated as furniture to be hidden? A woman at one of the tables whispered loudly, it's disgraceful. How could they? Claire's face darkened. People don't need to hear this. They came for a wedding, not for your guilt trip. Ethan's voice rose above hers. No, Claire. They came for truth, for love, for family. And this, he gestured toward me, this is the heart of it. Lily lifted her chin. She deserves respect. And if anyone here doubts it, ask yourselves, would your mother or grandmother accept this treatment? The room grew still. Hetchik. A few guests murmured in agreement. I clutched my purse tighter, feeling the letter within like a heartbeat. My voice steadied. Your father, David, left me words to carry. He told me not to let anyone erase me. And tonight I won't. David looked stricken. You still keep his letters? Yes, I whispered. Because he remembered me even if you don't. Ethan's jaw tightened. Grandma, sit with us. No. No more discussion. He pulled out a chair at the head table directly beside him. My knees trembled as I lowered myself into it, every eye in the hall still on me. Claire nearly choked. You cannot. I already did, Ethan snapped. The hall erupted into whispers. Some clapped quietly, others muttered about shame and honor. Claire's mask slipped, her voice dripping venom. If you think this stunt will change anything, you're wrong. People will only remember the chaos she caused. I lifted my chin. Better chaos than silence. Silence nearly killed me tonight. For the first time, David looked me in the eye. His voice was barely a whisper. I'm sorry. Tears welled in my eyes. I don't need apologies whispered in corners. I need respect, David. Respect shown in daylight before witnesses. He swallowed hard, his shoulders slumping. You're right. Claire spun toward him. You're siding with her? After everything. He closed his eyes. After everything, yes. She's my mother. The hall gasped again. Claire's cheeks burned red, fury flashing in her eyes. You'll regret this. Both of you. Lily's voice was calm, but her words cut sharp. No. The only regret will be yours, for thinking cruelty can stay hidden. I placed a trembling hand over Ethan's. Thank you, my dear. He smiled through tears. You deserve more, Grandma. You always have. The music had stopped completely. Guests stared, whispering, shifting uneasily. Some raised glasses in quiet solidarity. Others avoided eye contact with Claire entirely. I turned toward the room, my voice carrying though it quivered. I spent years believing peace was bought by silence. But silence only gave permission to those who hurt me. Tonight I reclaim my voice. Not for anger. For dignity. For a moment, only the sound of my own breathing filled the air. Then one table began to clap. Another joined. Soon the hall echoed with applause. Claire stood frozen, her fists clenched. David sat heavily, his head bowed, unable to meet her eyes. Ethan leaned close. See, Grandma? They know. They see you. Tears spilled down my cheeks, but for once they weren't just from pain. Yes, I whispered. They see me. And in that moment, surrounded by light and sound, the years of being invisible began to lift, one heartbeat at a time. The applause from the hall still rang in my ears as the music resumed, but beneath it I could feel something darker. Claire's smile had returned, but it wasn't a smile of peace. It was sharp, tight, dangerous. She leaned toward me, whispering low enough for only me to hear. You think tonight makes you powerful? You've just started a war. I met her gaze. I didn't start this, Claire. You did when you tried to erase me. Her lips curled. Erase you? Don't tempt me. You've embarrassed me in front of everyone. People will talk for years. And I don't forgive humiliation. Before I could respond, Ethan placed a protective hand on my shoulder. Everything okay here? Claire's voice snapped back into sweetness. Of course, dear. I was just congratulating your grandmother. She certainly knows how to make an impression. I stayed quiet, but my heart thudded. That wasn't a promise. It was a threat wrapped in lace. Later, when the toasts ended and guests began dancing, I found myself near the refreshment table. Lily slipped beside me, her voice soft. I don't like how she's watching you. She's angry, I admitted. But anger I can handle. It's what comes after that frightens me. Lily frowned. Do you think she'll? Yes, I whispered. She'll scheme. She won't stop here. Before Lily could answer, Claire appeared holding 2 glasses of champagne. Here, she said smoothly, pressing one into my hand. A toast to new beginnings. I didn't touch it. No, thank you. Her eyes narrowed. Afraid I've poisoned it? Lily bristled. Why would you even say something like that? Claire smiled too sweetly. Just joking. Some people take things so seriously. She drifted away, leaving her perfume and venom behind. I set the glass down, my hands trembling. Grandma, Lily said firmly, don't ever be alone with her tonight. Promise me. I promise, I said, though the knot in my stomach only tightened. Across the hall, I saw David sitting slumped at a table, staring into his drink. I gathered courage and walked toward him. He looked up, guilt written all over his face. Mother. I sat across from him. David, do you see what this has become? Do you see her anger? He rubbed his temples. I see everything, but it's too late. You don't know how she is at home, how she controls everything. I can't fight her. You're my son, I said quietly. I raised you to stand tall. But you bow your head like a prisoner. His voice broke. Maybe I am. Then break free, I urged. Not just for me. For Ethan. For yourself. He shook his head. You don't understand. If I oppose her, she'll ruin me. I leaned forward. She already is ruining you. Piece by piece. He had no answer, only silence. Later that night, as the bride and groom danced, I felt eyes on me again. Claire, standing at the edge of the floor, her smile never reaching her eyes. She whispered to a woman beside her, who glanced my way and laughed. My stomach turned. Ethan suddenly appeared, slipping into the chair beside me. Grandma, are you okay? I forced a smile. I'm fine. You're not, he said gently. I know that look. You're bracing yourself. I sighed. She's planning something. I can feel it. Ethan squeezed my hand. Then let her plan. Whatever she tries, we'll face it together. You're not alone anymore. His words soothed me, but fear still crawled under my skin. When the evening ended, guests trickled out with laughter and gifts in their arms. Claire stood by the door, gracious and charming, hugging everyone, thanking them for coming. When I passed, she leaned close, her whisper slicing through me. This isn't over. You've humiliated me and I will repay you. Don't forget, I hold the keys to this family. I stopped trembling. You hold nothing but bitterness, Claire. And bitterness rots the hand that clutches it. Her smile sharpened. We'll see. Ethan noticed the tension. Everything okay? Perfect, Claire chirped before I could answer. We left the hall, but my mind whirled. For years I had endured silence, small cruelties, hidden slights. Tonight had been my stand. But now the storm was only beginning. In the car, Ethan drove me home. The city lights blurred past, but his words anchored me. Grandma, I'll protect you. She can't hurt you anymore. I placed my hand on his. I don't fear for me. I fear for you and your father. She will use you as her weapons. Ethan shook his head. Let her try. She doesn't realize we're stronger when we stand together. But as I stared out the window, my reflection looked older, more fragile. I knew Claire's pride had been wounded. And a wounded pride is the most dangerous thing of all. When we reached my home, Ethan carried my bag to the door. Before he left, he hugged me tightly. Rest tonight. Tomorrow we start fresh. I held him, clinging to that warmth. Thank you, my boy. After he left, silence filled the house. I sat in my chair, the letter from my late husband in my lap. His words whispered back to me, don't let them erase you. I pressed the paper to my chest, whispering to the empty room. I won't. But I must be ready. Because deep down I knew, Claire's war had only begun. The morning after the wedding, I awoke with a heaviness pressing on my chest. The applause, the whispers, Claire's venomous threats, they all replayed in my mind. I made tea, hoping to calm myself, but even the steam rising from the cup couldn't clear the dread settling in my bones. The phone rang. I lifted the receiver. Mother, David's voice said softly. David? You sound troubled. He sighed. Claire is furious. Last night, she didn't sleep. She kept pacing, talking about how you humiliated her. She says people will never forget. Because they shouldn't, I replied. What she did was cruel. You don't understand, David whispered. She's planning things. She says she'll cut you off completely. No visits, no calls. She wants to turn Ethan against you. My heart squeezed. Ethan? Never. He loves me. Love isn't always enough, David said bitterly. She's clever. She'll twist things until even he doubts you. I gripped the phone tighter. And what will you do, David? Stand by while she poisons your son too? His silence burned. Finally, he muttered, I don't know how to stop her. Then the line went dead. I stared at the phone, my hands trembling. Later that day, a knock came at my door. When I opened it, Claire stood there, flawless in her pressed dress and pearls. Good afternoon, she said sweetly. My instinct screamed danger. Why are you here? To make peace. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. We can put last night behind us. But only if you agree to certain boundaries. What boundaries? I asked coldly. You'll limit visits with Ethan. No interfering in our family matters. No undermining me in public. And, she paused dramatically. You'll hand over those letters your husband left you. My breath caught. You have no right to those letters. Her smile sharpened. Those words make you dangerous. You wave them around like proof of something. If you want harmony, you'll give them to me. I steadied myself. Harmony built on silence is not harmony, it's chains. Her eyes flashed. Then don't blame me for what happens next. I shut the door in her face, my heart hammering. From the other side, her voice drifted in, low and threatening. You'll regret that. That night Ethan called. Grandma, did Claire come to see you? Yes, I admitted. What did she say? She wants me gone. She wants me quiet. And she wants your grandfather's letters. Ethan swore under his breath. She won't touch them. I'll protect you. No, I said quickly. Don't challenge her too directly. She'll come after you if she feels cornered. Then what do we do? He asked. I hesitated, then whispered, we wait. But we stay vigilant. She's weaving her web, Ethan. Don't get caught. Over the next week I began noticing changes. My neighbor, Mrs. Patel, mentioned she'd heard whispers that I was unstable, that old age had clouded my mind. At the market, 2 women I knew avoided my eyes. Rumors. Claire's handiwork. One afternoon, Lily came storming into my kitchen. Grandma, what is going on? At school today someone asked if you'd had a breakdown at the wedding. I closed my eyes. Claire's planting seeds. Lily slammed her hand on the table. This is disgusting. She's trying to isolate you. Yes, I whispered. And if people start believing her lies, she'll succeed. Lily grabbed my hands. Then we fight back. We tell the truth. But I shook my head. Truth shouted too soon sounds like desperation. We must be patient. People will see her mask slip just as I have. Still that night I lay awake staring at the ceiling. Her web was tightening. She wanted my voice gone, my letters gone, my dignity erased. 2 days later, David visited. He looked hollow, his tie loosened, his face drawn. "Mother," he said, barely above a whisper. "Claire is spreading stories. She says you've been hallucinating. She says you're unstable." The words pierced me, though I had expected them. "And you? Do you believe her?" He shook his head quickly. "No. But others might. She's telling family, friends, church members. Soon no one will listen to you." I leaned forward. "David, when will you stop being silent?" "Silence is the knife she uses against me." Tears filled his eyes. "I'm so tired. She controls everything. Money, reputation, the house. I don't know how to escape." "Escape starts with courage," I said. "Not with silence." He lowered his head, broken. After he left, I sat in my chair clutching my husband's letter. His handwriting trembled across the page, but his words were clear. "Your strength is your truth. Don't let fear steal it." I whispered to the empty room, "I won't let her erase me. Not again." But deep inside I knew the battle had shifted. Claire no longer fought in the open. She fought in whispers, in poisoned smiles, in rumors that spread like wildfire. And as I sat there, the shadows of her traps closing in, I felt the weight of the war she had declared, silent, vicious, and far from over. The rumors spread faster than I imagined. By the end of the week, my phone hardly rang. Friends who used to drop by with tea or sweets no longer came. At the market, whispers followed me. "Poor thing, losing her mind," I overheard. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped my basket. When I got home, the phone finally rang. I answered quickly, hoping it was Ethan. Dad, it was Claire. Her voice dripped with mock sympathy. "Mother, how are you feeling? I've heard you've been confused lately." "Confused?" I snapped. "You planted that lie." Now, she purred. "I only share what I've observed. People listen to me because I care about appearances. Unlike you. Appearances are nothing without truth," I shot back. She laughed softly. "Truth is whatever people believe. And right now they believe me." I slammed the phone down, my chest aching. Later that evening, Ethan arrived. He burst into the kitchen, face flushed with anger. "Grandma, I've been hearing things, awful things. People at work asked if you're sick, if you can't remember things anymore. Claire's telling everyone you're losing your mind." I sat heavily in my chair. "I know. She wants to strip away my credibility so no one listens when I speak." Ethan knelt in front of me. "Then let's fight her. Let's tell everyone the truth." I shook my head. "If we shout too loudly, it will sound like desperation. She's cunning. She'll twist even our defense against us." He grabbed my hands. "So what do we do? Sit here and let her ruin you?" I swallowed hard. "No. But we must be patient. We must let her own actions unravel her." He stood frustrated. "Patience feels like surrender." "Not when the enemy is digging their own grave," I whispered. The next day David came by. His shoulders sagged, his eyes ringed with exhaustion. "Mother," he murmured, "Claire says she wants to take over managing your finances. She told people you're not capable anymore." My blood ran cold. "She wants to control me completely." He nodded miserably. "She's already spoken to a lawyer. She says she'll petition for guardianship if necessary." My voice trembled. "David, will you let her? Will you let her declare me unfit when I can still speak, still stand, still fight?" He buried his face in his hands. "I don't know what to do. She's relentless. She threatens me, the house, even Ethan's inheritance." "David," I said firmly, "look at me." He lifted his head, eyes red. "You're my son. But you've lived in her shadow too long. You must decide, are you her puppet, or are you a man with a mother worth protecting?" He opened his mouth, then closed it again. "I'm afraid. And I'm not." I asked sharply. "But fear cannot rule us forever." He left without an answer, and I sat staring at the walls, feeling them close in. That night the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Claire herself standing tall, a file tucked under her arm. "What do you want?" I asked. She smiled. "I thought we could resolve this privately. If you sign a document transferring your accounts and property management to David and me, we won't have to involve lawyers." "I'll never sign away my life," I hissed. Her eyes glittered. "Then we'll prove you're unfit." One slip, one stumble, and everyone will believe it. And when the court rules in my favor, you'll have nothing. No money, no voice, no dignity. You underestimate me, Claire, I said. She leaned close. No, I don't. I know exactly what you are. An old woman clinging to scraps of pride. And scraps can be swept away. I slammed the door in her face, shaking so hard I could barely lock it. The next morning, a letter arrived in the mail. My stomach dropped as I read the words. Petition for guardianship. My hands trembled. She had done it. I called Ethan immediately. She's trying to take everything. She's gone to court. He cursed under his breath. This is war. I'll stand by you, Grandma. Whatever it takes. Tears filled my eyes. Be careful, Ethan. She'll use your loyalty against you. That evening, Lily visited. She threw her arms around me. Grandma, I heard. Is it true she's trying to declare you unfit? Yes, I whispered. She wants control of everything. She thinks if she silences me legally, I'll vanish. Lily pulled back, fire in her eyes. Then we fight harder. We tell the judge the truth. We show letters, witnesses, everything. I hesitated. The letters. They're my heart. But maybe it's time they're seen. Then do it, Lily urged. Don't let her destroy you. For the first time, I felt the weight of the battle fully. It wasn't just whispers anymore. It was war in daylight, with papers and courts and accusations that could strip me of everything. That night, I sat at my table, the letters spread before me. My husband's handwriting swam before my eyes. Stand firm. Do not be erased. I whispered to the empty room. I won't let her. Not now. Not ever. But as the clock ticked past midnight, I felt the full force of Claire's power pressing down on me. She had money, influence, reputation. All I had was my voice, my letters, and the fragile courage inside my chest. And yet, as I folded the letters carefully, I felt a spark ignite. She wanted me broken, silent, erased. But I was still here. Still fighting. And the war was far from over. The courthouse smelled of polished wood and fear. My hands clutched Ethan's arm as we walked inside, the letters tucked safely in my purse. My heart thundered so loudly I thought the judge might hear it. Claire was already there. She sat beside David, her suit sharp, her smile sharper. When her eyes met mine, she tilted her head in mock pity. Mother, she whispered loudly enough for others to hear, you really should have stayed home. This must be so confusing for you. I ignored her. If I responded, she'd twist my words. The judge entered and the room hushed. He looked at Claire's lawyer first. You may present your case. Claire's attorney stood, voice smooth as silk. Your Honor, we're here today because my client, Claire, is gravely concerned about her mother's ability to manage her affairs. Numerous witnesses have noticed forgetfulness, confusion, and instability. For her safety and the family's stability, guardianship is the only solution. My jaw tightened. Lies polished and rehearsed. The judge turned to Claire. Do you have anything to add? Claire rose, placing her hand dramatically on her chest. Your Honor, I love my mother dearly. This is not about control. It's about protection. I've watched her struggle. She forgets simple things, loses track of conversations, and sometimes seems detached from reality. Her voice trembled, practiced just enough to sound genuine. David sat silently beside her, eyes fixed on the floor. He didn't defend me, but he didn't look triumphant either. Just broken. Then the judge looked at me. Mrs. Whitfield, do you have a response? My legs shook as I stood. Ethan squeezed my hand for courage. Yes, Your Honor, I began, my voice unsteady but growing stronger with each word. My daughter has painted me as a fragile old woman who cannot tell night from day. But I stand here today with my mind clear and my memory intact. What she calls forgetfulness is nothing but her attempt to erase me. Claire's lawyer smirked. Do you have evidence, Mrs. Whitfield? Anything beyond words? I nodded slowly and reached into my purse. I have letters. Letters my late husband wrote me, hidden for years until I discovered them. They prove not only my clarity but also the pattern of manipulation that has haunted this family long before today. I laid the letters on the judge's desk. My fingers trembled as he began to read. Claire's composure cracked for the first time. Her eyes darted to the papers, her lips pressing into a thin line. Ethan stepped forward. Your Honor, if I may speak? The judge nodded. My grandmother is sharp, stronger than anyone I know. Claire has spread lies to isolate her, to make her doubt herself. I've seen it. We all have. She wants control, not protection. The judge studied Ethan, then turned to Claire. Do you dispute these letters? They're sentimental, she stammered. They don't prove competency. My mother can recite old words, but can she manage her own money? Her own safety? I drew myself up, meeting the judge's eyes. I pay my bills. I cook my meals. I walk unassisted. I am not a child to be parented by my daughter. The room fell silent. Claire shifted uncomfortably. Then, to everyone's surprise, David spoke. His voice was soft, shaky. Your Honor, I don't believe my mother is incompetent. Claire whipped her head toward him, fury flashing in her eyes. David, she hissed. But he continued, tears gathering. I've been weak. I let Claire push me into silence. But the truth is, Mother has never been incapable. I've seen her fight to hold this family together. If anyone's been unstable, it's me for letting this go so far. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Claire's face reddened. She stood abruptly. He's only saying this because he's emotional. My mother manipulates with guilt. That's her weapon. I stared at her, sorrow heavy in my chest. No, Claire. The only weapon here has been your lies. The judge held up a hand, silencing us. He leaned back, thoughtful, before speaking. This case is not about family disputes or old resentments. It is about competency. And from what I've seen today, Mrs. Whitfield speaks clearly, presents coherent evidence, and demonstrates full awareness. The petition for guardianship is denied. The words washed over me like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. My knees weakened with relief. Ethan hugged me tightly, whispering, "You did it, Grandma. You won." Claire, however, wasn't finished. She slammed her hands on the table, face twisted with rage. This isn't over. She can't win. I'll find another way. The judge's voice cut sharp. Miss Claire, enough. This case is closed. But I saw it in her eyes as she stormed out, dragging David with her. This battle was won, but the war lingered in the shadows. As we walked out of the courthouse, the air felt lighter, freer. Lily was waiting outside, tears streaming as she hugged me. Grandma, I knew you'd stand strong. I knew it. I smiled through my exhaustion. Strength isn't the absence of fear, my dear. It's choosing to fight despite it. The family had witnessed my breaking point and my defiance. Claire had lost her mask, and for the first time, people saw her for what she was. But deep inside, I knew she wouldn't stop. Not yet. And that truth weighed heavy even in victory. The house felt different after the courtroom. The silence wasn't heavy anymore. It was sharp, expectant, as if the walls themselves waited for the next storm. I sat at the kitchen table with Ethan and Lily, sipping tea I barely tasted. Ethan broke the quiet first. Grandma, I don't trust her to stop. Claire doesn't take defeat well. I nodded slowly. You're right. Winning in court won't change her hunger for control. It only makes her more desperate. Lily leaned forward, her eyes bright with worry. What if she tries something worse? I heard her yelling at Dad after the hearing. She looked dangerous. My chest tightened. David, my son, still trapped in her shadow. Your father has to find his own strength. I can't fight that battle for him. But I can be ready if she comes after me again. Before Ethan could reply, the front door opened. Heavy footsteps echoed in the hall. Claire. She swept into the kitchen, eyes blazing, David trailing behind her like a shadow. Her voice dripped venom. Congratulations, Mother. You made quite the performance today. Almost convincing. Ethan rose immediately. You're not welcome here. Claire sneered. Sit down, boy. This is between me and her. I stayed seated, refusing to flinch. Say what you came to say, Claire. She crossed her arms, pacing like a caged animal. You humiliated me. In front of strangers, in front of family. Do you know what that does to a reputation? I met her gaze steadily. The only one who humiliated you was yourself. Lies have a way of unraveling in the light. Her laugh was bitter. You think this is about lies? Well, this is about power. And you, old woman, don't know when to let go of it. David shifted uncomfortably, eyes darting between us. Claire, please. She snapped. Quiet, David. You've done enough damage. Then her eyes returned to me, sharper than knives. You think you've won because the judge saw through your act. But I know you. I know your weaknesses. You can't fight forever. I leaned forward, my voice low but steady. You're right. I can't fight forever. But I don't need to. Because for the first time people see you for who you are. And that truth will outlast me. For a flicker of a moment, fear crossed her face. But she masked it quickly. We'll see, Mother. We'll see. She turned to storm out, but David grabbed her arm. His voice cracked. Stop, Claire. Just stop. I can't do this anymore. She whirled on him. What do you mean? I mean, he said, trembling, I'm done choosing silence. I've watched you tear my mother apart and I let it happen. But no more. I can't be your shield. Her face twisted. You're pathetic. After everything I've given you, you betray me for her? His voice rose, desperate but firm. You didn't give me a marriage, you gave me a prison. And I'm finally walking out. The room froze. Lily gasped softly. Ethan's jaw tightened in disbelief. Claire's face drained of color, then flooded with rage. You'll regret this, David. You'll crawl back when you realize you can't survive without me. He shook his head. I'd rather crawl alone than keep standing beside your cruelty. Silence engulfed us. Claire's chest heaved, her fists clenched, but for the first time she had no words. She stormed out, slamming the door so hard the walls rattled. David collapsed into a chair, burying his face in his hands. God forgive me. I should have defended you years ago. I reached for his hand, squeezing gently. It's never too late to stand on the right side, my son. Tears slid down his cheeks. I let her poison me. I believed her whispers about you, about your fragility, your weakness. I wanted peace, so I stayed quiet. But silence only fed her. Ethan spoke, voice softer than I expected. At least you're speaking now. That matters. David looked at him, shame heavy in his eyes. Ethan, I failed you too. I let her push me between you and your grandmother. I let her turn this family into a battlefield. Ethan hesitated, then gave a small nod. You did. But maybe this is where it starts to change. The words settled like balm on old wounds. For years I had carried the weight of betrayal, but here in this fractured kitchen, I saw cracks of healing. Still, I couldn't ignore the shadow Claire left behind. She won't let go easily, I whispered. She'll come back angrier, more reckless. David straightened, wiping his eyes. Then I'll be ready this time. I'll protect you. It wasn't a promise I fully trusted yet, but it was a beginning. Later that night, after the children had gone to bed, I found myself alone in the living room. The letters lay on my lap, my husband's words steadying my soul. Forgive where you can, one line read, but never bow to cruelty. Stand even if your knees shake. I closed my eyes, whispering into the quiet. I'm standing, love. And I won't fall. Footsteps approached. David entered quietly, sitting across from me. His voice was hushed, heavy. Mother, do you think she ever loved me? Truly. I studied his face, the boy I once cradled now worn by regret. Love twisted by control isn't love at all. She loved what she could shape in you, not who you were. He nodded slowly, tears glistening again. I wasted so many years. No, I said gently. You endured them. And now you can choose differently. He looked up, determination flickering. I'll make it right. For you. For Ethan. For Lily. I'll make sure Claire doesn't break this family any further. For the first time in years I saw my son. Not the silent shadow, not the obedient husband, but the man beneath. We sat in silence, the old clock ticking softly, the storm outside finally easing. Claire's mask had shattered. And though her shadow lingered, the light had begun to seep back in. For the first time I allowed myself a fragile hope. Perhaps the worst was behind us. The morning after the storm felt unreal. Sunlight streamed into the kitchen, golden and warm, but my chest still carried the weight of years past. Ethan hummed softly while pouring tea, Lily set plates on the table, and David sat with a quiet determination I hadn't seen in years. I broke the silence. It feels strange, doesn't it? Sitting here, without tension choking us. David nodded. Strange but right. Like the air is finally clear. Ethan grinned faintly. That's because it's the first breakfast in months where Claire isn't telling someone what to do. Lily laughed softly, then caught herself glancing at David. Sorry. He surprised us by smiling. Don't be. You're right. I let her control everything, even meals. But not anymore. I reached across the table, touching his hand. Words are easy, son. But living them will be the true test. He held my gaze. Then I'll live them. The doorbell rang. All three of them stiffened. My stomach sank. I already knew. Ethan muttered, "It's her." David stood. "No. I'll handle it." He walked to the door. When he opened it, Claire's sharp voice pierced the air. "David, let me in. We need to talk." His reply was steady. "There's nothing left to talk about." She pushed against the door, but he held firm. "David, don't be a fool. You'll regret throwing me away. Think of appearances, of respect. What will people say?" He didn't waver. "They'll say I finally found my spine." I rose slowly, moving to the doorway. "Claire." Her eyes flicked to me, blazing. "Of course. Always you. Always the martyr." I shook my head. "No martyr. Just a woman who refuses to kneel to cruelty anymore." She sneered. "Cruelty? You've poisoned him against me." David stepped closer to her. "No. You did that yourself. I let it happen too long, but not anymore. This house isn't yours to storm into. Leave." Her face twisted, voice rising. "You'll regret this, David. You'll regret betraying me." I saw his jaw tighten, but his words were firm. "The only betrayal was choosing you over my own mother for so long. That ends now." Her eyes darted around, wild, desperate. For the first time she looked small, cornered. Then, without another word, she turned and stalked away, her heels echoing like gunshots. The door shut. Silence. Ethan exhaled. That felt final. I whispered, "Masks don't always break clean. She may return, but she'll never hold the same power again." David leaned against the door, trembling slightly. "I can't believe I finally said it." "You needed to," I said gently. "Not for me, but for yourself." Later that afternoon we sat in the garden. Birds chirped, the air was crisp, and for once, peace didn't feel like a stranger. Ethan plucked at the grass. "Grandma, I've been thinking. All these years you carried this pain alone. Why didn't you ever tell me?" My throat tightened. "Because I didn't want you to see the ugliness in the people I love. I thought, if I bore it quietly, you could keep your innocence." He frowned. But that silence let her win for too long. "If I'd known, maybe I could have helped." I sighed. "Maybe. But don't regret what you didn't know. Regret belongs to those who chose cruelty, not those who were kept from it." David's voice was quiet, heavy. "That regret is mine, Mother. I let her convince me you were meddling, weak, too demanding. I believed her because it was easier than facing my own cowardice." I turned to him. "And now?" His eyes met mine, clear for once. "Now I want to earn back the years I lost. If you'll let me." Tears burned my eyes. "I never stopped being your mother. I never stopped wanting you back." Lily sniffled softly. "This is the family Ethan and I prayed for." Ethan smiled sadly. "It just took a wedding to break everything apart before it came together again." We sat in quiet reflection until the sun began to dip. That evening, David returned with an old photo album. He laid it on the table in front of me. "Do you remember this?" I opened it, seeing faded pictures of his childhood. My hand trembled as I touched the images. "I thought these were gone." "I found them in the attic," he admitted. "Claire wanted to throw them out. She said the past didn't matter. But I hid them." I looked up sharply. "You hid them?" He nodded. "Because deep down I couldn't destroy what you gave me, even when I let her tell me you didn't matter. I guess some part of me still knew better." My chest swelled with a mix of sorrow and relief. "That part of you saved us." Ethan leaned closer. "Grandma, what will you do now? With everything different?" I thought for a moment. "I'll live. Not just survive, but live. I want to plant new roses in the garden, cook meals for people who love me, maybe even write the story of what happened, so others know they're not alone." Lily smiled warmly. "You should. Your story could heal people who feel powerless." David's voice was quiet but firm. "And I'll stand beside you this time. No more silence." The fire crackled in the hearth. I looked around the room, my grandson, his kind wife, my son who had finally returned, and for the first time in years I felt whole. But inside, a warning whispered. Claire wasn't finished. She wouldn't vanish without one last strike. And when it came, I would need to be stronger than ever. I spoke softly, almost to myself. The fractures are mending. But I'll be ready when the shadows return. Ethan heard me. He reached across the table, his hand covering mine. We'll all be ready, Grandma. Together. And for once I believed it. The week after David confronted Claire felt like standing on a fragile bridge. Peace stretched before us, but beneath I could hear the roar of the river waiting for one more fall. Ethan said it aloud at breakfast. She'll come back. You know she will. I nodded. Yes. People like Claire don't let go of power without a final performance. David lowered his gaze. And when she does, it'll be ugly. Lily set her cup down firmly. Then let's be ready. That readiness came sooner than I expected. One evening, as twilight painted the windows in dusky purple, the doorbell rang. I didn't move. David did. He opened it, and there she was, Claire in a sleek black dress, her face sharp, her smile practiced. David, she purred. We need to talk. He didn't invite her in. There's nothing left to say. She tilted her head. On the contrary. You think you're free, but you're not. Without me, you're nothing but a spineless man hiding behind your mother's skirts again. I rose slowly. Enough, Claire. Her eyes snapped to me. Ah, the queen herself. Still clinging to your throne. You think because you embarrassed me in court, because you turned my husband against me, that you've won? No, old woman. This isn't over. Ethan stepped forward. Stop talking to her like that. Claire's gaze cut him down. You stay out of this, boy. You're nothing but her puppet. Ethan's voice didn't waver. No. I'm her grandson. And I'm proud of it. Lily added, softly but firmly, and her family. Which is more than you'll ever be. For the first time Claire faltered. Her eyes darted, looking for an opening, a weakness. Then she laughed coldly. Touching. A family reunion. But you've forgotten something, haven't you? David crossed his arms. What's that? She reached into her bag and pulled out a stack of papers. She waved them triumphantly. I have records. Your debts, David. The loans I covered, the bills I paid. I can make sure the world knows what a failure you were before me. Your reputation will rot. David didn't flinch. Go ahead. I'm done living in shame. People know I failed, so be it. At least they'll also know I found the courage to stop failing now. Her smile wavered. You think anyone will respect you after that? I stepped closer. Respect built on fear is nothing. You've ruled with threats too long, Claire. They won't work anymore. Her voice cracked, shrill. You can't do this to me. I made this family. I shaped it. Without me, you're nothing. I met her gaze, steady and calm. No, Claire. Without kindness, without love, without truth, you're nothing. And that's why you're losing. Silence followed, broken only by her ragged breathing. Then Ethan spoke, his tone cutting through the air. You know what's funny, Claire? At my wedding, you pushed my grandmother into a hallway. You thought no one noticed. But everyone did. And that's what they'll remember. Not your dresses, not your parties. That cruelty. That will be your legacy. Her eyes widened, panic flickering at last. No. That's not true. They respect me. Do they? Lily interrupted gently. Or do they just fear your wrath? Because respect and fear are not the same. Claire's mouth opened, but no words came out. For the first time her mask slipped completely. David took a step closer, his voice steady but final. Claire, I'm done. This marriage, this life we built on lies. It's over. Leave and don't come back. Because if you do, you'll find no one here to listen. She stared at him, at all of us, her chest rising and falling in ragged fury. You'll regret this, she hissed, but the words carried no power now. Then with a sudden jerk, she tore the papers in half and threw them to the floor. Fine. Rot in your little circle of pity. You deserve each other. She spun on her heel and stormed out, the slam of the door echoing like the end of a play. The silence afterward was heavy but not suffocating. It was final. Ethan whispered, Is it really over? I exhaled slowly, my hands trembling as I sank into a chair. Yes. Not because she walked out, but because we stopped kneeling to her. That's what ended it. David lowered himself beside me, his face pale but resolute. I should have ended it years ago. I should have defended you. I squeezed his hand. We can't rewrite the past, David. But we can choose the future. Tears slid down his cheeks. Then let me choose better from now on. Ethan leaned against the wall, exhausted but relieved. Grandma, you did it. You faced her and didn't break. I smiled faintly. I almost did. But I remembered your grandfather's words. Stand even if your knees shake. And I stood. The fire in the hearth crackled, warm and steady. For the first time in years I felt safe in my own home. Lily spoke softly, almost reverently. This house feels lighter. Like it can breathe again. David nodded. That's because the shadow is gone. I looked at him, at Ethan, at Lily, and whispered, no. It's because the light finally returned. We sat together in silence, letting the peace settle around us. The years of humiliation, betrayal, and silence had finally reached their end. When I rose to go to bed, Ethan stopped me. Grandma. Yes, my dear. He smiled, weary but full of love. Thank you for never giving up. Even when it would have been easier. My throat tightened. You were the reason I couldn't give up. You all were. Because even if the world pushed me into hallways, I knew I still belonged here, with you. And for the first time in a very long time, I walked to my room without fear, without weight pressing on my shoulders. Claire's reign was over. Justice had come, not through revenge, not through shouting, but through truth, endurance, and the courage to stand. And as I lay down, the night quiet around me, I whispered to the darkness, it's over. At last.